Welcome into the Cam and Strick podcast. This is episode number 12. Happy holidays, Cam Jansen.
What's up, buddy? Merry Christmas, man.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you.
Can
You're
I say that
all
now?
peppy. Why are you all peppy?
Because I talked to Paul Bissonnette, Biz Nasty. Of course, we all know who he is, and great guy. Fought him a bunch, and well, he brought it today.
I didn't know you fought him.
Yeah, it was a terrible fight. I
Really?
fucking hated it.
You fought him where?
Yeah, everywhere. Juniors. He beat me up in juniors one time.
Same age?
Yeah, I think he's a year younger than me, but I remember my dad being in town, and he was the captain of Saginaw, and I was killing
he was the captain?
I was fucking killing everybody, and then I fought him, and he kind of pumped me up a little bit, and it was a little embarrassing. My dad's like, who the hell was that big tough dude with a mohawk? And I'm like, I don't fucking know.
And he was the captain.
And now he's got 1.5 million followers.
Have you ever been a captain?
Yeah, I was captain of the swing set team, and shut up, Andy.
Of the swim team?
Swing set team.
This is a fun conversation,
it was
man.
great.
I don't really know how to describe the conversation.
I don't know either.
Or what we even talked about.
Don't know.
So you'll just have to listen and kind of check it out for yourself, and then you can tell us what we talked about.
Oh, shit.
Enjoy this from Biz Nasty, from Spitin Chiclets.
Yeah.
Boys, have we started? Because I can jump right into
You
this.
fucking jump in.
We're going,
homeboy.
First of all, I love that about you guys. That I could just hop into this fucker. That I didn't have to worry about doing the stupid intro where you stroke me off and pretend like I was a good hockey player for like 30 seconds. And you list off my accomplishments, and people are like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Fucking Calder Cup winner, man.
But I come to Barstool probably about 3 times a year now. But we've been doing these car washes where we do New Amsterdam Pink Whitney events. We'll go to a city. We'll do a bunch of interviews with a bunch of current and former players from such and such organization. We did one in Chicago, so we don't necessarily need to come to New York as much, whereas we need to meet up in cities where there are other NHL teams.
I sent you a picture, Biz, of our beautiful multi-million-dollar locker room in St. Louis, because we're doing big things in St. Louis right now, Biz, I'm not gonna lie to you. And you go, who's that mutant motherfucker next to me? I go, that's small penis Reed Lowe. And I told you that. And you're gonna be seeing him when you come to All-Star break, by the way, too. So we're all crushing that stuff, man.
So
wait, time out. I got Kelly Chase threatening me.
Why?
Telling me he's gonna beat me up during this alumni game. So I don't know how intense this alumni game gets in St. Louis over the All-Star weekend. But not to get sidetracked here, but I am so happy for that city. I'm from Welland, Ontario, so I don't like seeing the major markets winning all the time. I like to see the fucking blue collar lunch pail people get to crush some pints and bask in glory, because we know as much as anything. There's money can't just buy you teams now. You got to really think it through, and I like how teams like St. Louis are maybe on an even playing field where, the cap's only so high, and I think that St. Louis can spend up to the top every year now. And the work that Armstrong's done, and just really everyone involved, and you guys briefly touched on the alumni, that might be the best alumni in the entire league.
Just for the record,
besides Toronto, where they're probably making $100,000 a year doing autograph sessions, but other than that, it's the best. You're right.
So Cam,
you're throwing dollars out there now.
Cam was so. Listen, 2 weeks ago we had Daniel Carcillo on, and he didn't like the way he sounded. He didn't like the questions that he asked. So then we had Marty Brodeur on last week. He didn't curse once. He was like a little puppy dog. Now we have Biz Nasty on, and every other word is an F-bomb right now. Biz, have you noticed that?
That's what he does to me.
Well, boys, I mean, you're like, I'm authentic. Like, I don't know. Like, I get that some people would be like, "Oh my God, this guy's like too much, and he's aggressive, and why is he swearing so much? He sounds uneducated." Well, I mean, that's me. So, I mean, you guys, enough people listen to the Spitin Chiclets podcast to know that we're clowns, man. We're fuck ups. I don't know how to pronounce half the guys' team or half the guys' names in the league. I really struggle with that type of stuff. And to go even further on that is, I commend these guys like Patrick Sharp. He hops right into it. This guy's a fucking robot.
He's beautiful.
He's stunning. Like I think tests need to be done. This guy might not be human, and he's just like his rhythm of speech, and he's never stuttering. And I'm just like, how the fuck do these guys do it?
I hate him.
And you know how they did it, Cam?
How?
They didn't get punched. They didn't get punched in the head their entire life.
Hey, Biz, it's so bad in the Jansen household now, when Sharpie's up on the screen, I gotta change the freaking channel.
You gotta change the channel
because Kate's in love with him. I'm like, screw this. I'm done
my
with
old
this.
lady's got the Gluck Gluck 3000 just jamming her fucking
jamming it. Done with it. Change the damn channel. Put it on news where it's all negative.
Hey, but you mentioned it. You're authentic. How do you sell that to the Coyotes? They ever give you shit about that or no?
They have been great. You know, I think that they know that, like, I mean well, and like I'll give anyone the shirt off my back, and I'll do anything to help promote that team. And I buy 8 season tickets, and I give my tickets away around town because I want people in the building. I want that team to stay there because I'm connected to the ushers. Like, I'll say hi to the ushers and then the people who work, because they're wonderful people. So I see as it more than just, you know, what it is for like the paycheck, right? Because at this point, I'm getting money from other areas where I don't need that, and they've been so good at it's been such a good relationship because they do let me be me. Yeah. Have there been times where they have to been like, hey, can you maybe not say this online? Yeah, there has, and I apologize. I'm saying, listen, I don't want this to be a reflection of you guys because you know I love you. But it's been incredible, and Rich Nair was the one who brought me in and gave me my opportunity there.
He's the best, by the way. He's unbelievable. Been around forever.
Hardest job in the world because he's got to try to keep everyone happy all the time. He's got to ask the players, can you do this, can you do that? Because in a non-traditional market, we have to do other things in order to sell the game, right? And they understand that, and I think that even John Chaika and Rick Tocchet have understood that as well, where sometimes they'll allow the video camera in the locker room. I think they do it actually maybe once a game now, where Rick Tocchet, like, sometimes he'll be getting mad at the players, like, that was unacceptable, where he's allowing that to happen because he's understanding if we get more people in the arena and this thing goes upward, we're going to have more money to spend on free agents. And hey, look what's happening, man. All of a sudden the Coyotes are spending some money. We just got Taylor Hall, we got Kessel this summer. Like, we're a threat in the West.
You have money left after paying Clayton Keller? I thought you guys were out of money after you paid Clayton Keller.
Who's cheap, by the way. Tell him to start spending more money on the young guys. I went out to lunch with him the other day, Biz. He didn't even fucking pick up the tab.
It was breakfast,
He didn't pick up the fucking tab.
Pat Maroon paid for it.
Patty picked it up. He signed it for $700,000.
Hey, but
he got 10 times more than what Patty Maroon got.
Oh, my God.
And he's played 200 games. But now, saying that, I think that's a great deal for the Coyotes, especially him coming off of an off year on a sophomore season. Yeah, and you could just see it tore him apart because the kid cares so much, and he's such a great kid. He's a sweetheart. He loves the game of hockey, and he genuinely puts the work in to be better. Whether it be video, whether it be in the gym, he had a great off season. He signs that deal, which I think took a lot of pressure off him. And so far this year, buddy, he's gotten like 40 shots in the last 6 games. He's starting to shoot the puck more too, so he's not just a first pass guy or a first pass option guy, and he had his first multi-goal game this season a couple games ago. So I think that deal moving forward is going to be really good, especially if they're able to keep all these weapons around them.
Do the Coyotes, do they market you like they do the players, or do they separate you from the players? Because in reality, I mean, if they did have a problem with you,
he's the most popular guy on the
people
team.
know about you than they do the players there. I mean, Clayton Keller tells me he's never been recognized walking around the streets there, the mean streets of Arizona. But now Taylor Hall's kind of cutting your grass a little bit because he may be the most famous Arizona Coyote. But I mean, seriously though, does a team kind of respect the fact that you have a lot of reach?
Okay, so I completely, first of all, love the question, and I never want the fans or even the players to think that I think it's about me, because it's not, because these guys are putting in the fucking work, and I'm just happy I have a platform in order to tell everyone about them. And I think that most people understand, like the team itself, we need to use this as a tool in order to market our team, in order to create ad revenue, whether it be through content or radio or whatever it may be, and use it in order to help us and get the eyes that they think they deserve. So ultimately, it's all going to be like, hey guys, I'm trying to put people's eyes on you, the players and the team. We do some other fun things in the meantime, like the pillow talk with Tyson Nash.
You put me to sleep. I love it. I love it.
He said
Kate and I. Should I say Kate and I on that one?
Well, Nasher said you have some good ones coming up.
She loves Nasher too. Fuck. I gotta stop fucking putting the NHL Network on.
We got to talk about Nasher because I would imagine you guys are getting a lot of people from St. Louis listening. He has nothing but unbelievable things to say about St. Louis, and I just want to say thank you to him because we have very, very similar personalities. We were actually born on the exact same day, and he.
On Christmas or when was your birthday?
No, March 11th. We're both Pisces, right? So,
cool.
and really not even Nasher, but the whole media crew. They were so friendly to me off the hop, and were so helpful that like they really made my transition a lot easier. I don't know what it's like other places. Like I don't know if you're going to maybe have the veteran who's a little like cocky, seeing you as the young guy come in. There's a lot of egos in media. And you really find that out very fast.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas like we've obviously been doing well with Chiclets, and maybe some people might have the mentality that we think like, oh, like we don't want any competition or whatever. It's like fuck that. Like when you guys started this, I'm like, perfect. More stories, grow the game. We all fucking win. Same with Bieksa and Kessel.
Yeah, I saw that.
Terry Ryan has a great one in the East Coast, and now all of a sudden, all these crazy stories that even if we just did it till the end of time, still all of them wouldn't have been told because you're gonna vibe and pull different things out of a guy that we did. So ultimately, more is just better for all of us, and then we get to do cross promoting like this, where. Man. It's fucking, dude, and it's so easy to get guys like you on where it's a conversation.
Who,
this
Andy?
Isn't no fucking interview.
No shit.
Guess what? Andy had to work and grind his dick off.
Fucking right he did. Damn right.
You know
I'll pump it. I chirp Andy like no other, but I'll pump his fucking tires up. He didn't have shit, and he grinded it, and he grinded it. I remember, Biz, when I got traded here in 2007, I walk in, the first fucking thing the guys came up to me, they go, watch that Andy Strickland. Watch him. I'm telling you, you gotta watch what you say about him. Watch what you say about things here. He's gonna. And I'm like, what? Like, and Andy walks in. I'm like, oh, okay. And we became buddies. And I'm like, no, he's fucking grinding it, man. Like he's digging into shit. That's why Babcock wanted to fucking fight you.
The other thing
it wasn't the players though.
It was the staff and me. It was everybody. It was actually everybody.
Well, it's everything. And what's unfortunate is some guys, because you didn't play at a certain level and you got to start at the bottom, and that's why when all you guys end up getting to the top, it's like even more like bow down, mad respect, because it's like you had to do it like organically. There was you had to fucking work, or you weren't going to get the benefit of the doubt. It'd be like being a first round draft pick. You know you're going to get tossed around from organization to organization, even if you're a bust. If you're a 7th rounder, you get your one sniff, maybe one more, and then it's sayonara. Right? So you guys are behind the 8 ball from the beginning. That's why I always stroke off guys like Elliot Friedman and the Merricks and Gordon Miller, like in any of these guys who had to do it organically. It's just like tip of your cap. You guys are the goats.
How did this Spitin Chiclets start? I mean, it's gigantic. Everybody in St. Louis, oh my buddy. I mean, like, it was even weird starting a podcast with Andy because we're like, we don't want to be you guys. No one's ever going to be you. We kind of wanted to be different because you compare everything. You look at what Spitin Chiclets doing. Like, what did they do? How did this all start? How did you and Whit come together? And is there any guys
Listen, can I?
You could add on to this because I know you were going with this.
Well, because one of my favorite training camps ever was when Biz was here.
Yeah.
And Whitney was here. Biz took the news that he didn't make the team much better than Whitney. I'll never forget, Whitney was all upset. I'm like, did he really think he was going to make the roster? Like, he must have thought he was going to make the team. But did you guys know each other before you came here? And is that how this thing kind of came together?
How did it all go down?
We played together in Wilkes-Barre and then a little bit in the National Hockey League. So he was traded later on that year where I finally got some NHL games up with the big club. So my first impressions of Whit was we really didn't get along. He was a little bit older. I was like OHL guy, so I was like over the top, where I think he thought I was kind of just being a bit of a hero, where he eventually found out like, oh my god, this guy's like this all the time, like this, like okay, all right, I'm down with.
Trust me, I get it.
That's what I'm saying, right? So like you come in hot, where chances are you're butting heads with the guy early, and then next thing you know, like you're best man at his wedding. Yeah. So it's just like, but you do need time with them. we'd always discussed it, and because we were both fairly active on Twitter, and there was some conversations via text that like, hey, I think we would have a successful podcast, because he was familiar with the fact that Barstool was doing it, right? So I hadn't even like, I'd be like, oh, fucking rights, I'd be down for that. Like that'd be fun to do. And then he actually was like, hey, let's do this, because he'd retired. And then Rear Admiral had messaged him back being like, hey, I'll start it with you. And RA at the time had the soundboard, and he was editing the fucking go back and listen to the originals. It's crazy how like the sound quality and everything changed.
Oh, we get
so that. I told him, I said, listen, man, you got to wait till I retire, because I can't come in swinging, and that's the only way I know how to do things. Like, I can't not be me. And then next thing you know, the Kings are going to be like, you're done. Like, you know, like talking about girls shit in my bed when I'm fucking them and stuff.
See, I like that, though, Biz. I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, we can go. We can.
No, time out. I was being sarcastic.
Listen.
I don't like when broad shit in my bed. I should calm my voice down just a little bit so I'm not screaming. Did that happen to you? Did that happen to you?
You are a fucking clown. I love it. I love how you guys are like us. You just like chirp every stupid thing you do on the podcast.
Well, we got people buying clothes for Christmas in here, and I'm talking about broad shit in my bed.
I got to start back with the one of the 10 questions you asked, and that fucking goosebumps choose your own ending question you asked me. But you mentioned like being kind of like the first and being the OGs in the space, or at least the first ones to pop off and make it as raw as you would expect.
Yeah.
It's nice. I would be lying to tell you if it wouldn't be like it would suck to be like coming up behind someone and then all of a sudden some fucking idiot throw in your face like, oh, you're just trying to be like such and such. But why it's awesome that we were is because as the first ones, we get to tell all these fucking losers who do say that to other people, hey, shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. They're doing their own thing. They're trying to bring out other stories that may not have came. And who knows, there might be 50,000 people that listen to your podcast or how many ever who like aren't down with the way we do things. So the more the merrier. Like you guys have a different sense of humor. You're asking different types of questions. And it goes back to like the more the fucking merrier, man.
How did you look? I remember playing against you, Biz, and we had some weird fights. I hated fucking fighting you, and we already talked about this on Chiclets anyway. But I hated fighting you. But I always respected you, man. You're always in a good mood. You always talk to me in warm-ups, sitting down and doing our shit. And that's always, like there's some guys that didn't do anything to you. But how the fuck did you get Twitter to where it is now? I remember starting Twitter. My fucking agent did it, and I had him do it for some stupid reason. And I just didn't dive into it. And then I got traded back to the Devils. Lou didn't want us doing it. How did you get from point A to point B? Were you just like, you know what, I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want, and I'm going to be myself, and if the organization gets pissed, I'm going to accept it? How did that all go down to where you're at now?
It just happened organically. Scotty Upshaw told me to start one, and because I was asking what it was about, because on ESPN in the locker room, all of a sudden they would be like, "Oh, and this person said this on Twitter," and I'm like, "What is this?" And Scotty Upshaw was like, "You should get on that, dude. You'd be perfect for that. You're a clown." And I was like, "Nah." And I kept pushing it aside. And then one summer after training, I was watching the sports channel again, and it happened again. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like sometimes I'll post shit on Facebook, and like I'll go back and forth a little bit, not like at a crazy amount, but let's do it. And then I just like it was like crazy. It was like all of a sudden you were just connected with all these people from all over who were hockey fans who. And at first, remember, Twitter was fun. Like you could say shit, and like people would giggle about it, and it wasn't like, oh my god, I got PETA, the feminists, and all these other.
Oh, they're the best.
The
feminists are the best, by the way. They're the funnest.
Just like the worst part about them for us is I tell a lot of sex stories, right?
Cam's a feminist, by the way. Just in case
watch your tone, damn it.
From the moment I met him, so I'll group you into these individuals. So I'm telling sex stories. Well, it's like, first of all, like I would never name someone's name, so for all you know, it could be a made up story, and like we're not dragging anyone down. Nobody knows their name or who it is. They're hidden identities. You have one lady's name who. Yes, she might have heard the podcast, but her friends don't know. Her friends don't fucking know it was me anyway. And they're like, oh, that's so. It's like, but we have girls who listen to the show who love those and laugh at those. So do you, as a feminist, do you get to speak for all women? Kind of like you're kind of like really being a hypocrite and going against what the thought is making women feel independent. They should be able to laugh at whatever the fuck they want. So they're just like, I mean, we deal with the crazy left online all day, every day, right? They're just gonna, like, no matter what, they're gonna find a way to be offended, and I guess nowadays it's being called out more to the forefront, where you can kind of establish what somebody far left is and what somebody far right is. I mean, we know, like, racist bigots, what a far right person is. So totally. It's just really interesting to see how they've kind of changed the way things are done socially. And it is a bit unfortunate, but thank God for podcasts. Because now, this isn't being forced down your throat. You don't have to come here. If you don't like it, fuck off.
You're not turning the radio on and listening to us talking about a girl shitting in the bed.
No.
Buddy,
which I want to hear. And nobody wants to listen. When Cam and I were talking about doing this, I said it doesn't interest me. I'm not looking to break down the power play to talk about the line combinations.
I want to know about the power play. Damn it!
Yeah, nobody cares, and they don't want to hear Cam try to break it down. I'll tell you that right now.
Thank you.
Now,
that's the one reason why not only do I not take myself very seriously, and also why we're a players podcast. Like, I'm always giving players benefit of the doubt. What am I going to do? Start chirping guys? It's like, dude, you scored 7 goals. You played 200 games. Shut up. Like, and they,
you scored 7?
Right.
Cam scored 6.
Damn it.
Oh, suck it, Cam. And you probably played twice the amount of games as me, though.
Yeah, I fucking suck. Thank you for that. Go ahead, Andy. You got a question for me?
Cam, I'll say this, though. How fortunate were we where we played in that last bubble?
Isn't that funny? And you know what? Anybody that thinks of fighting, the last people they think about was our era, which is kind of cool.
And we were fucking pussies compared to those old school fuckers.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. Absolutely.
We were jersey jabbing. I'm like, I don't want to break my nose. It's like, shut up, pussy.
Yeah. No, Cam's a success story. All right, how many players ask you to come on? Because some of the guys you've had on locally, I know you didn't ask them to come on. They must have asked you to come on.
Call them out. Who asked you to come on Spitin Chiclets?
But do they ask you? I mean, are guys constantly texting you, emailing the show, saying, "Hey, I want to come on"? How does that work?
Not really. I was like recently, I think Alex Tuck told the PR guy for the Golden Knights that he wanted to come on. I'm like, fucking rights, dude. I wish more guys, especially current guys, because I want to know which current guys want to come on and talk, because some of them, like, they just don't open up. The most frustrating thing is when someone reaches out to come on and then it's like, yo, that's all you're gonna fucking bring?
Give me an example. Give me an example.
Give me some guys.
Biz, come on.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's odd, because it's like, you know what we demand. Now, there's also some people who have written back and said, hey, I was very nervous. Where I'm like, man, what? Like, do you not listen? We're fuck ups, man. This is just a conversation.
No, but Biz.
Where I guess I get a little bit nervous before these podcasts, because you know how many people always. I get nervous before I do anything.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
So I wish I didn't have that emotion. I wish it was just like, yeah, roll the camera, let's fucking go. And you do have those days where you're like, oh my God, I felt like I was a fucking man. And other days you're like, oh God, dude, do I want to keep doing this? Like, I was a fucking loser out there today.
Biz.
So it's just like playing.
Biz, I'll tell you this right now. You're exactly right. Even when I did it with you guys, it was 5 weeks before you fucking aired it. And I'm like, I'm honestly sitting in bed at night like, what the fuck did I say? Like, you were a Tasmanian devil. I know.
But that was, buddy, that was you, and
it worked.
And guess what? And now you get to come back on next time, and we get to joke about the fact that you were the Tasmanian devil. But you did have your fuck record shattered, though.
God!
Really? Was it Nello? Was it Nello who I partied with in Chicago? He had on twice, by the way. Who's an unbelievable human being. That guy's a fucking maniac. I love him.
It might have been Kirby Doc, the young kid from Chicago. he was based on F-bombs per minute. Played.
Really?
Good.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
I don't know.
I'm classy.
But anyway, Todd Bertuzzo, or Bobby Ortuzzo, came on, and he was, so we called him Bobby, Ortuzzo. So it turns into like a joke, because it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Have you had anybody on that they were so boring, so bad, you just never aired it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who, but we're gonna do a redo. But I think it was more our fault because we started with something that was a kind of like a Debbie Downer. So it just really sucked the life out of the interview where we're like, what the fuck were we thinking? So I take full accountability for that, and we held it just to protect the player. Because who knows? Some people's opinion would have been like, "Oh, that guy was boring," and it's just like, no, I'll eat that one, and we're gonna have to beg for him to come back on. And then we were a little concerned about the. And this will bring me to another topic as well. So we were a little concerned about the Eddie Shack one, okay? And the reason I said that is because he's a little bit older, and he was saying things that were a little old school that we ended up having to cut. So we're talking on there where we had people being like, "Why the fuck you guys apologizing?" Like it's almost like an insult to your guests. Where last minute we had to decide to take out 11 minutes of it because there might have been some things said that would have put him in harm's way.
That's what happened with Cam when we interviewed Carcillo.
So now,
the full audio of Carcillo is available for $39.99 right now. By the way, we'll go ahead and release that. We'll get these there'll be message boards, we'll get tweets, and we'll get comments on our Instagram where there's so much more than in the back scenes that these people have no fucking clue about like trying to protect people, or maybe like, hey, this didn't land, but we were trying something new. But we've also did that 5 other times, and you've loved it. So if we don't keep kind of trying to create and do things differently, we're trying to be creative. That's the art of it, right? Like Howard Stern created different segments that not everyone loved, but some of them turned into big hits.
Well, like Richard Christie crapping his pants and have everybody try to smell it and see what he ate that day. Did that work? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's like some people might shut the station off, but others might be like, "Oh God, it's my favorite segment."
That actually happened?
That's just one section. Now you brought up a name where you brought up Carcillo, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm as I'm getting older, I'm getting more empathetic, and I try to really think about things before I say them. And rarely do I go online on Twitter and say them anymore.
I know.
I'll save it for the podcast because I can get it out in long form, and I can cover all my bases where I'm genuinely coming from. Now, I called Carcillo like a week ago and had an hour-long conversation with him, and there's some things that I learned about him and his side of things and the path that he's been down that made me kind of be a little bit more sympathetic and understand where he's coming from on some of his posts and the way he's been handling things, okay? But it was a great conversation because I also got to articulate to him and say, Carsey, like, I think there's a lot of what you're doing online that is really taking away from the message that you're trying to get by, where you're kind of a little bit everywhere, and maybe trying to bring people down in order to get your point across, where if you have to do that, chances are a lot of people aren't even going to give you benefit of the doubt because they're seeing how you're having to do it. But so in order for him to be successful, what sucks about it is he's going to have to be patient, because that whole Monador case is going to come out, and there were some things that he told me about that I was like, wow, I didn't know that.
I know.
It's very interesting.
No doubt.
And the fact that he's like, Biz, I haven't been sued about the stuff that I'm saying, so obviously they're not coming after me because they know there's some merit to it. I also heard the way that some of the NHL handled him early on, which really set him off and made him go so kind of wild on it, where I'm like, damn, that was maybe a misstep on their part, where this could have all been settled surely but slowly, because we know these situations and the concussion thing, like this is a turning moment in time. Like it is turning. It's going in the right direction. It's just like, it's not going to happen overnight. And you can't just have all these companies going, yeah, here's a fucking check here, here's a check here, here's a check here.
Fire him.
There's also like a lot of these guys that are suffering from stuff where when, like, I put myself in the line. I knew the risks involved. He's saying not all the risks were presented to me, but I was also doing things away from the ice that might have kind of contributed to the way I feel now health-wise. And I don't think any of them are taking accountability for that, where I'm like, dude, I know what the fuck you were doing. You were doing the same shit I was doing.
No doubt about it, man.
Like, so what? Like me shoving anthrax up my nose for fucking 10 years while I was fighting and getting concussions and drinking and partying didn't affect me mentally moving forward. That wasn't the best way to handle a concussion. I wouldn't feel right trying to sue the NHL and presenting myself as a victim when I truly don't believe that I am. I'm not.
No,
I'm grateful for everything.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm not saying what Carcillo is doing wrong, because some of what he's doing I truly do believe in, and I wish him nothing but the best, and I hope we can all get there to a place where everyone's happy and safe. But dragging, like early on especially, like he was throwing out like Bob McKenzie, and like it's like, dude, like these people have like no say in that, and they've been putting in their time, and you're trying to like bring down their image when they're salt of the earth, unbelievable people. And the thing I love about Carcillo is he goes, I see where you're coming from, and I agree with you in some instances. Yeah. And I'm one of the guys that he tried to bring down and all that. And he goes, I'm sorry that I had to use you as a pawn in order to kind of like get you shifting people's focus to what I'm doing. And I told him, I said, Carcy, like I have no problem with that.
Call him Daniel, by the way. You'll get
Daniel. And I told him, I said, I respect the fact that you're admitting it, because I was well aware of what you were doing. And I even said multiple times, I agreed with what you were fighting for in some instances. So I wish him nothing but the best. If you ever get a chance to give him an hour phone call and just hear some of his side.
I've done it multiple times, man. And you know what? Yeah. We were texting back and forth the other day. I think his heart, I think he's learning, like a lot of ex-athletes, man. You got to learn how to convey your message. And I think sometimes, it's like trial and error. You make mistakes. Maybe it doesn't come across the way you want it to, and you just learn from experience. And he might be going through some of that. Maybe there's a gentler way to make your point across where the people who are listening might embrace the message differently if you just soften it up a little bit,
Well, exactly, and once again, I also don't know how I'd react to losing one of my best friends who helped me get to sobriety. That's what. So it's like it was such an impactful moment in his life. He feels like he owes this to Monitor, and I really respect Dan for that, because he like in the process he may be gaining a lot of enemies, and by the end of this he might not even win the fight. Like, who the fuck knows, right? But like ultimately he thought he was going down swinging for his buddy and a guy who helped save his life, and for me, it's like I got to tip my cap to him for doing it.
Yeah. So he and I got into it a little bit, and I didn't play, in the National Hockey League, so I'm an outsider from that perspective, but I said to him, and we'll move on from Carcillo here, Biz, but
you're fine. I think it's a very interesting topic, because this is at the forefront of our game, just like the Don Cherry stuff was, and all the coaching thing. Like, we're at a shift in our culture,
right? But I said, I think most players. Listen, I'm a reporter I'm friends with a lot of players, ex-players, current guys who played 1,000 games, guys like Cam who played 400 games, whatever, guys who played 50 games. And I don't hear too many players who talk about being miserable or having a bad experience playing in the National Hockey League. And I said, most guys probably understand what they're getting into, what they signed up for. They've been playing the game their entire life, and that's where he disagreed with me. He doesn't think that players do know what they're signing up for and what they're getting into. That's hard for me to understand, as a guy that's been covering the game,
Well, yeah, and like and like look at how different it is now, like to when we were playing, like even like spotters, or concussion protocol, or doing the baseline test before training camp, and then that way they can see the standard. And then another thing too is like one other name that just kind of popped in my head was like, I think he's kind of. I don't think he's went at Kelly Chase, but maybe had an exchange of words where, like, we both know, like Chaser behind the scenes is doing so much shit in order to bridge the gap that it's like, and then people online are like on Carcillo's side holding the pitchfork are kind of like, oh, like you're old school and you're a hockey guy and you're part of the problem, where it's like, no, man. No. What he's trying to do is not fucking spit on the faces of his his ancestors and do this the right way and make sure nobody gets dragged down in the meantime, where the type of Monitor stuff never happens again. Where like we can all just be in peace, and I think that if Carcillo handled it differently and just maybe teamed up with those guys, maybe there would be a gap to bridge between the NHL where where something was set up where we could fix this, because I don't like the back and forth.
No, it's just terrible.
I don't like it either,
terrible,
man.
because you know why?
The message gets lost.
It's given people who never put an ounce of fucking true energy into this game, other than maybe buying a ticket and just being a bitcher online. Whereas like they get to think they are fucking right in something. It's like, shut the fuck up. You don't have an opinion. You haven't fucking lived and breathed it.
No.
Get the fuck. That's why when they keep trying to change the rules and this is my opinion, this is my opinion. It's just like, oh yeah, buddy, go in a locker room and then watch your buddy get slammed through the glass and then tell me how you're gonna fucking react.
Exactly.
Like your brother just got shot, kind of, so to speak. There's so many emotions involved that they wouldn't even be able to comprehend if that fucking type of chemical hit their body. They would fucking have. Maybe their mind might have exploded.
Oh, they go to counseling, dude. It is what it is.
How much has the league reached out to you, Biz? And I mean, what's their reaction to what you're doing?
I don't think I'm there. I hope they hear. I hope they hear me on the podcast. Like I want to bridge the gap. I want peace. I am so grateful for what the NHL gave me, but I also want my brothers to be better when they're leaving the game. Can we do more in order to set up things where these guys have jobs where they're going to be able to transition and not just occupy their wallet, but more so their time, because you're going to soon realize some of the most miserable guys, are guys who might have made like $50 million when they played, but it's just they don't have anything to do, and there's nothing that they.
Tim Thomas is not doing good right now too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I fucking that breaks
weird,
my
man.
heart.
I know.
Breaks my heart.
Well, speaking of breaking hearts, I know you're busy as all shit, man. You're like you're fucking all over the goddamn place. You're doing lacrosse. You're doing this shit. But the one common theme that you have, and young Page just texted me and make sure he wanted to let you know that he's gonna fucking chirp you right now with that. I don't know what you're wearing with this. It's a shit colored. Long trim. No, wait. It's a shit colored.
Let me describe it.
Okay. You want to talk? Okay, fine. But YP is beaking the shit out of you. You wear this everywhere. You just scored a goal in Chicago. I don't know how the hell you did that, but you fucking beat Ryan Whitney. He thought he was going to score. You didn't, but you got this fucking coat on every single time. I think it looks sexy, but guys are chirping you. What do you got to say for yourself?
I mean, I don't care. Like, I don't. Here's the thing about guys who always bust my fashion. I got over 1,000 kills. I don't care if you like what I'm wearing. I care if she thinks I look nice. It's the same reason I have a fucking skincare routine that would fucking, it'd be a mortgage payment for most of these people listening.
Hook me up with that, by the way.
You're 19,000 shy of Wilt Chamberlain, by the way. You got a long way to go.
That's a fucking lie. That's a lie.
Listen,
Wilt Chamberlain's lying.
I've slowed down, but guys, like I'm not perfect. I'm a dog. I enjoy sex with random women. To me, I like sport fucking. That's kind of.
No, I hear you.
It's like a professional sport.
It's like killing a grizzly bear up in the north.
And guess what? I'm going to do that while I'm young, and I don't have time for a family, and I'm traveling. And then when the day comes, I think that it'll be out of my system, hopefully, and it's a light switch, and I'll find somebody that I'll want to spend the rest of my life with, and maybe even, who knows, maybe get some little business running around, terrorizing.
Well, we saw a couple. Matthew Barnaby tweeted out a couple Biz Nasty. I thought I saw a couple Biz Nasties up in East Alton, Missouri, too. I see the name out there. I know
I tie my foreskin in a knot. There's no way any fucking semen are getting through there.
Well, good for you.
But it's a Ralph Lauren purple label jacket, and most of you listeners won't know what that is. But that is the best of the best. And that thing, here's a funny story. That thing is a $5,000 jacket, right?
My God.
So that's alpaca. Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
Alpacas?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Hey, so I saw that online and I looked for it everywhere. It was sold out online. I was devastated because that's an art piece. Okay, so wait,
you're warm.
You're warm. So we're going to Chicago, and I find out we're shooting at Center Ice. And as we're coming back from doing a little shopping for Wit, I see there's a Ralph Lauren store, and I say, "Fuck, who knows? Maybe they have that jacket." So I go in, and sure as shit, they got the jacket. So I buy it, $5,000. Go to the rink, sink that fucking shot from Center Ice.
Sit down, everybody.
Right in that little hole.
Sit down, everybody.
Sit down. It was one for the ages. Okay.
Great, dude.
So like I think a week before that, I was in NYC. And I'd actually met a girl out who worked for Ralph Lauren, and I asked her, I said, can you get me this jacket? And she tried and couldn't. After the shootout, I sent her the video, and she goes, let me see what I can do. She ended up digging it up. I got to return the jacket for $5,000. She got me her employee discount, so I got it for $2,500.
No,
he's always working deals.
Hey, dude, $2,500? Are you fucking kidding me?
No, that's a good deal.
And she's probably going to expect the pipe next time I see her.
Well, let her have it.
Hey,
tie that foreskin together.
I got to get off the phone here in a few minutes because guess who we're interviewing today?
Who?
Scotty Gomez.
Oh, tell him I said what's up.
We didn't know if he could do it under the Lou umbrella still, you know?
Yeah.
You fuckers are going to have to give me some arsenal.
I'll throw you some shit, no doubt about that.
You owe me. What was the question before that?
The most listened to guest that you've had.
Last time we checked, Joe Vitale.
Okay, so I had to make sure I didn't know if you just said that to him to make him feel good or if that was actually true. So it was kind of a trick question. Is that really the case? The most listened to of all the people you've had on? You know, he's got a big family.
I think it was the perfect storm. It was NHL playoffs, St. Louis between Boston. I think he knocked it out of the park, and you guys know as well as anyone.
He's my boy, by the way. Great guy.
He's a very special human, and to hear that he had to go through that difficult time and how the stars aligned for him, for that story of his wife talking him into going to skate, and he went in, and then he got asked to do the job, and then next
it was me that asked him.
Yeah, and he skated with my group.
Yeah. He got out of his rut, and who knows if he doesn't get out of that rut. Scott Gomez just got here, guys, but it was just like very touching to me.
Yeah,
and it was hard to know that it even got there, but he was so positive about his whole experience, and we get people who listen to our podcast who come up all the time and say, guys, like, I was going through a rough patch in this episode or that episode or this in general, and you guys are going to start getting that. And then you're going to realize, okay, like, I like money and I like to work to have a better life, but then it just becomes about way more than all that.
Yeah. Well,
It's about, fucking lives that you get to touch.
Exactly.
It's a special feeling.
I already got people texting me right now, and they're like, Cam, like, I've been banging a bunch of slump busters right now, and Biz made me feel a lot better about myself. So you're doing God's work right now, Biz.
We all are, man, and we all get enjoyment from this game, and that's why I think maybe with the Carcillo stuff, we all get so defensive of it, is because we know what it's given us. Once again, not to rag on him, because I think that, I think what he's doing is good stuff, some of it.
Before we let you go, we're going to see you in St. Louis, or what? You coming in for the All-Star game?
Boys, we'll do some interviews from you guys. We'll get you on Chiclets. We want to get everybody when we're down there. We want to see the people. We got some hardcore fans there, and we'd love for nothing more than for you guys to be a part of it.
Hey, we got a studio for you.
Are you off the wagon? You good?
Yeah, I don't
good?
drink a ton anymore. I just smoke a shit ton of dope I did before this interview.
You're the only one I know. He did a podcast.
I got you.
He said he's on his 5th day in a row eating mushrooms.
Well, we could do that too if you want.
Biz, boys, you're gonna think I'm, but like I microdose mushrooms before I go to the arena to do my broadcasting with the Coyotes.
Nothing wrong with that.
It makes me feel better. I'm happier. I'm able to interact with all the fans as I'm walking through.
Well, microdose is different than like going to like a fish show and like just
you're not snorting mushrooms.
No.
You guys are out of your fucking minds.
Hey,
I love you guys.
Tell Gomer I said what's up. Tell Gomer I said what's up. We'll talk to you soon.
I will if you fucking send me some quick material.
I'm going to text you in 2 seconds. Thank you for coming on, homeboy. Later, dude.
That was Biz Nasty here on the Cam and Strick podcast. Again, I didn't know what we talked about beforehand. I don't know what we talked about now.
Nope.
But I'm glad we had him on.
Damn right. He's just a character, and he explained a lot of things, man. Like he's in a position right now where he's doing great with the podcast, and he's doing so many other things, but he doesn't need those other things. He doesn't need. All he needs is his podcast right now, and it's very interesting how his outlook is when it comes to other jobs that he's been offered and he's attending right now.
You know what? They turned into a brand over there with Spitin Chiclets. And obviously have, kind of kickstarted, podcasts. I'm not so sure we're doing this podcast if there wasn't Spitin Chiclets.
No.
Not that we're trying to be Spitin Chiclets, because we're not. I should
Well,
throw
you're not
that
Ryan
out there
Whitney,
right
I'll
now.
tell you that.
No, and you're certainly you're not either one, right? So
Well, I'm not. I mean, I'm close to Biz, I guess, in ways.
No, but I mean, we're not trying to replicate or duplicate anything. But obviously, they created a brand and a platform for other people to kind of do.
And they're making a living
what
doing
we're
it.
doing.
It's fun.
So and we do have fun, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Except for when you interrupt me.
No, you interrupt me more than I interrupt you.
Could be
Let's
true.
be honest.
That could be true.
I mean, you're just constantly interrupting.
It's not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Sit down.
Sit down. Oh, don't say what you said last time that you.
I had to edit out.
Yeah, you had to edit that
shit,
out.
Jesus
We should
Christ.
just call you Editing Cam, man.
Yeah, well,
Editing
you know,
Cam. That's
I'm
who
a
you
journalist
are.
now.
Who do you want to have on? Who's the one guest that you really want? To interview?
I'll tell you that right now. We're gonna get Twister on. We're gonna get Jordan Tutu on. But I also want Tom Wilson. I want 3 guys from the Capitals.
Yeah.
I want Osh. I want Willie, and I want Ovi. Those are my 3 big dogs. I was gonna call you and ask you that.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Ovi.
Tom Wilson is an incredible interview.
I want Tom. Is he really?
Oh, he's awesome.
So he's got a personality,
Big time.
and he's got the looks, and he's got the style.
And he's
got
good
it all.
hockey player,
And he's
too.
a great hockey player.
Yeah, so
Holy cow!
we'll
Good for
work
him.
on that.
No, we need him on. We need him on.
Maybe he'll make the All-Star team.
Right, will.
You never know.
That was a good interview today, though.
It was fun, man,
was great.
and we always appreciate people for listening, so be sure to check that out. We want to hear your feedback, too.
Yeah.
Feel free to tell us what you thought, what you liked, what you didn't like, who you want to hear on the Cam and Strick podcast, and be sure to check it out on iTunes, Spotify, and, of course, on YouTube, and support everything we're doing. And all the people out there, whether you're listening to it now or maybe a year from now, enjoy the holiday season.
Right on.
Spend time with your friends and your family, and again, have fun. 2020 is going to be a great year.
Yes, it is, baby.
For the Cam and Strick podcast. As always, it's brought to you by Cope24. You'll hear about that on our Twitter promos that we have running constantly. At Strick Cam is the Twitter account.
Stupid.
I don't know why you came up with that.
You did it, buddy.
Did I do that?
You wouldn't have the name first.
Well, no,
Very
you
dumb.
try to do at Cam Strick.
Very
it doesn't
dumb.
work.
Yeah, because my name's popular.
Yeah, at Strick Cam.
Thank you.
And we'll have another one for you. Always appreciate the people here at the Normal Brand for letting us hang out. Come on in for your last-minute Christmas shoppers. You still have time to get some last-minute gifts for that special person in your family here at the Normal Brand in the heart of Ladue. So a big shout-out to Conrad, Lan, and everybody with the Sandstone family who's letting us set up shop here each and every week. We'll have another one for you coming up soon.
Yep.
Thanks as always from Cam Jansen and Andy Strickland.